providing resources and comfort to caregivers. This is Caregiver Crossing.
Good morning. That's right. You are listening to Caregiver Crossing. I hope that you're doing well this lovely Sunday morning, and I hope that you had a wonderful, cozy, happy Thanksgiving. If this is your first time joining us, Caregiver Crossing is a show that's brought to you by Joyce House and presented in partnership with Cardon and Associates. Thank you for being here. This show was created for family caregivers and all of the people who love them. We're here every single Sunday morning to discuss all things caregiving. I do want to also say welcome to Indianapolis for all of you folks that might be visiting from out of town. Welcome to our lovely city. My name is Candace Hattabaugh.
I'm Terry Stacy. I'm her friend. And also welcome to all of you in Terre Haute that are hearing us today on WPFR radio, as well as here in Indianapolis on 93 WIBC and AM 1310 The Light. We welcome all of you and tell your friends about it. This is such an important show. You may never think about being a caregiver at this moment in your life, but just listening to some of the things that we'll talk about, you will absorb it. And you will know it when the time comes, because I'm a believer that we will all be a caregiver at some point in our lives.
Absolutely. We'll all either be a caregiver or we'll need care. So it touches us all in different ways.
Oh, Tina's not here today. You should know that. Tina is not here today. Yeah. Tina McIntosh, the founder of Joyce House and a co-host here with us. Tina, I know Tina has been talking about it, thinking about you right now, Tina, Bina. And I know that in just a couple of weeks, well, even shorter period of time, Tina's going to be
next week
undergoing some surgery on her brain, on her big, beautiful brain. And so just keep her and her family and the doctors in your thoughts and prayers right now, as Tina's going to go through some things here, and we'll catch up with her at some point. But she'll be back with us actually as a co-host in February.
Yeah, she's going to take a little time off. Much deserved and much needed. You can find past episodes of the show at caregivercrossingradio.org, and be sure to like us on Facebook. That's going to be the best place to keep up to date with us in between shows. If you like to discuss show topics or need help connecting with resources, or have questions that you'd like for us to discuss here on air or in private, you can give us a call at 317-254-0828. Or you can email Tina directly at tina@joycehouse.org. There is someone monitoring her inbox while she's out. So It'll either get sent to me or she'll respond when she's back in February.
Hope everybody had a fantastic Thanksgiving holiday. Hope you all did. And I know there's still today as part of that 4-day holiday, but I also know it's a big travel day. So for wherever you're going, just be careful.
Yeah,
because it's nuts out there. I'm not going to lie to you.
Did you do any shopping on Black Friday?
You know, I did not actually in person this year. Did a little bit of shopping online, so I'm trying to catch in some of those Black Friday deals, and also Small Business Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Did a little bit of shopping here in Greenfield, where I am in Greenfield, Indiana. That's where my home is. So did a little bit of local shopping with some of the great mom and pop shops that I love so much, where you can find some truly unique stuff.
Yeah, and I'm glad that Black Friday is becoming a more so online thing than in store. The crowds are just crazy, but also that local Small Business Saturday. Would love being able to support our local businesses.
I know
here.
it, and and sometimes you know you're going to pay just a little bit more at mom and pops, but they also have things that you don't see anyplace else.
Yep, and it's so worth it. It's so worth it.
I think so too.
Contributing to our community. If you are looking for a organization to support on Giving Tuesday, Tuesday, I ask that you keep Joyce House in your mind. We do have an online campaign going on Facebook. You can mail a check directly to us here in Broad Ripple. You can go online and make that contribution through our website. We are grateful for all of the listeners that support us here on Caregiver Crossing and Joyce House as well.
Joyce House is a nonprofit. Y'all should remember that. That's a nonprofit adult day service. And so adult day center. And lots of great resources for you as well. But sometimes I think people might think it's a business. And it is a business, but it's a nonprofit.
Yeah.
You're not making a gob of money.
No. No.
Unless Tina has it and we just don't know it. I don't think so. Not at all. I don't think so at all. I've known her for a long time. No, she's not making gobs of money here. She does this from her heart. So it is a fantastic place. And for those of you that are new to our area and need a place like this for your loved one to spend a couple of hours or all day, they take great care of you here. That's for sure.
Thank you. And drop by. You know, you don't have to necessarily make an appointment. I actually don't I encourage you to make an appointment from our standpoint. But if I was a caregiver looking for some place for my loved one, I would just pop in. I want to see what you look like
Yeah.
when you're not expecting me. So that's naturally what I'm going to say to all the caregivers there. Whether you're looking for an adult day service or nursing home care or assisted living care, whatever it might be, just pop in. You know,
Yeah.
just do it.
They've got all the resources.
Yeah.
They do. And I know that this is not a, oh gosh, it's hard to even transition into this topic. But before we turned on the mics, Candace said, hey, I found a new way to be cremated. And I thought, well, how are we going to, give me it's Thanksgiving weekend.
Goodness.
But it is, I'm interested.
It is a thing. And I'm sure it's because my phone is listening to me. So my grandmother passed away a couple weeks ago and she was cremated. And TikTok just popped up in my TikTok feed, water cremation. And I had never, ever, ever heard of that.
What are you talking about?
So this company that's based in Denver, Colorado, it's a long cylinder that would fit like a human body from head to toe. They put the body in this cylinder, metal cylinder, and they close it up. And then it's filled with water. And then they put some sort of solution in there. And
I don't know. And then are you spinning you like
It-
a washing machine?
Yeah, not like an agitator type of thing, but if you think of like a bingo hopper that just goes around and around
So
and
Candace,
around
Candace, I
for
don't know.
several hours, and it pretty much dissolves everything down to the bones.
Okay.
And then this solution
my
is
goodness.
taken and used
fascinating.
in gardens. And that's what I found the most fascinating. They're using, the dissolved body in feeding the garden.
Well,
And-
you know what? I guess it's just, it's doing the same thing as it would if you were put in in cremation that
Yeah.
we know in fire,
Yeah, exactly.
and then you spread the ashes.
Yep, the exact
some
same thing.
underneath trees or
Yep. They
in
do
the garden. But the water is interesting,
Yeah,
isn't it?
It is. They do. So after
wow.
everything's, I don't want to say boiled down, but I'm going to say boiled down.
Oh boy.
And the bones are left. So they grind the bones like we would think of normal cremation, and they provide the
This is so interesting.
powder
I
back
know
to the
it's hard.
family.
Yeah.
Or they said they can turn them into rocks, and then the family can use them in their garden or whatever. But where was I going with that? I lost my train of thought. It was so interesting that
That is interesting.
the trees. So I know that some organizations are doing the normal cremation and then potting them with the seeds and the dirt, and you can plant a tree from your loved one: peach tree, apple tree, weeping willow tree, whatever it is that you want, and you're
it's
sheltered.
So interesting.
I thought
I've never
so.
heard of this before, and this may be the new thing.
I think that I either want to be a tree or I want to be
I don't mind being a tree.
some garden nutrients.
I don't mind it.
I think it's so much more interesting
I
than
do
being in a
too.
box.
It's our soul that goes. It's our soul
Yeah.
that goes to heaven, or whatever you may believe. But for me, it's my soul. It's not my
not my body.
not my skin, not my shell.
So Tina and I were at the TIPA Snow Conference. What is this? This was
Oh,
last
gosh.
2 weeks ago now. And TIPA said she made a comment about her body being her rental property.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
you're
like,
just
when,
renting
when
it.
my rent's up here.
It's a way to look at it. I mean, it really is. We're just using it.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
I love it. That came up fast. We've got to take a break.
Yeah, we
But
do.
we'll be right
Thank
back
you,
on more
Candace.
Caregiver Crossing right after this. Terry would be saying, welcome back to Caregiver Crossing. Thanks for listening.
I was snapping. I was snapping my fingers.
I'm
enjoying the-
Candace, that's Terry, and Tina's here too.
Thank you, Candace.
Oh, you're welcome. I got you.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about hospice. Tina, are you ready to lead us out?
No.
All
I mean, I am so overwhelmed with what I'm seeing here
Yeah.
about hospice. And I think this came across our desk because there was an article that I just had right here.
Is this about the doctor?
Yeah.
The
and
medical
it's
director?
Blue Sky Hospice medical
Yeah.
director convicted of a $2.8 million hospice fraud. And I'm just trying to figure out, first of all, who is in that line of work, hospice, end of life care, that wants to commit any kind of fraud. Like,
Right.
shame on you on so many levels.
I don't
People are
know.
dying.
I know. And
You
this
know?
is truly the first we've heard of this with all the hospice care around the country. This is the first I've heard of something like this happening within the hospice community. For you, I mean, have you heard a story like this before?
I mean, I've heard about it in long-term care. I've heard about it in some other settings, but hospice, not necessarily. I mean, when I think hospice, I think of very kind, compassionate people. So it just was really disappointing to see this. There's not a lot of information, and this comes from hospicenews.com, and there's not a lot of information except that this is a hospice medical director, and he is charged with care fraud at $2.8 million. It was a scheme, as they call it. And then there is some information, Candace, that you had provided to us that I was looking at. And there are so many ways, there are so many things you have to qualify to get into hospice, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's 2 doctors, right, have to say that you are terminally ill, that you have less than 6 months to live. And I'm just trying to think, where does the fraud come into play? I think they were actually admitting people to hospice who were not terminally
That's
Yeah.
what
ill.
it sounds like.
Think they were-
Fraudulently certified Medicare patients
Right.
of this particular place, Blue Sky, saying they were having terminal illnesses that the patients did not have. So that Blue Sky Hospice could bill Medicare for hospice services.
So legally, shame on them.
Right.
But you guys, the heart, like they were telling people they were terminally ill when they weren't.
They weren't.
And I think
It's terrible.
maybe the loophole
The
in there
worst.
is that there are people who they'll say graduate from hospice, meaning they'll come back and say, hey, this
Yeah.
is not 6 months left
Yeah.
for you. You probably have a year or two.
And we've seen it dozens of times.
Yes. Yes. Do you know the average stay at a hospice home
I do
on
not.
hospice care?
I thought it was much shorter than I thought it was maybe like 4 weeks,
It's 2.
2 weeks.
Really?
2 weeks. Average somebody is in hospice before they pass away. That's incredible to me. I mean,
Incredible. What do you mean incredible?
fast.
Like,
I think
fast.
we need to find a way. We need to find a way as an institution, if you will, that people know that they are in hospice much sooner than 2 weeks left to live.
I don't know, and I could be really wrong about this, but I'm put myself in the position of my family and doctors and saying it's time for hospice care. And when you hear the word hospice, I know from my dad, the word hospice was terrifying because that was such a signal for him. And we kept thinking, well, if we put him in hospice care, in a place that he'll go downhill much quicker. But that was my brain thinking, because I wanted to keep him at home and comfortable as long as we could, with hospice coming in and out, and that's what they did.
So let me clarify this. When we talk about hospice, there are 2 different things. One
Exactly.
is the actual 4 walls where somebody can go to a hospice home. Okay. The other is hospice care that will either come into those 4 walls or they will come into your home. So we'll hear home hospice or,
Oh, okay. Okay.
hospice at a facility.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I understand what you're saying.
So
Yes.
for your dad, and I know it, it's very new for you with his loss. The hospice service came into your home.
Came into our home, but we never called it. He never heard the word hospice. They were nurses coming to see him.
Hey, whatever works for you, right?
Yeah, and
For your
you
family.
know, you're right. You're right. There's not a right or a wrong on this.
Yeah, Candace, what's your thought on all this with this hospice fraud?
Well, I mean, I naturally think it's very shameful, but especially for, I think more so for the individual, as you pointed out, telling me that I have 6 months or less to live, and then finding out that it's fake. I think that's so shameful, and it's hard for the families to have to deal with that as Terry has said, but to know it's not real is even worse.
So let's talk about some of the common signs of hospice fraud and abuse. So some of the common signs. One is you were enrolled in hospice without you or your family's permission. I can tell you, as someone who enrolled my father into hospice last year, there is a whole process you have to go through. So if somebody's just enrolled and nobody around them knows, we know that's a problem, right? What else is on that list?
You find someone who is falsely certifying or failing to obtain physician certification on plans of care. Like Tina said, you've got to have, there's a checklist and physicians have to sign off on it. And if someone's falsifying, then you know that's a red flag.
Also on this list are things like you can see your Medicare summary notice of explanation of benefits. Stay with me here. Your Medicare summary notice or explanation of benefits that you were billed at a higher level of care than was needed or provided for services either you had or that weren't received. Who really pores over their explanation of benefits?
I don't.
No.
Like right now,
No.
I'm thinking they come in the mail, I open them, I throw them away, and I never think of them again.
Mhm.
Should I be reading them?
You probably should.
Yeah, you probably
I think
should.
we all probably
We
should.
don't all read anything anymore. You know, leases. We don't things.
I just sign.
Nope.
Is that,
You just sign.
I don't feel very
sign.
smart
We're
right now.
trusting.
This
We're
is
trusting.
This is an interesting when we're talking about common signs of hospice fraud and abuse. You were offered gifts or cash to receive hospice services. That would be a red flag immediately.
What in the world? Like what? You get a
paying me?
free
You know,
shaved
right.
beef at Arby's
What-
when you sign up for
right,
hospice?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Or and to get those services, to refer your friends and family,
Stop it.
or to encourage you to elect hospice despite not being terminally ill. Those are all red flags. That's pretty easy. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, if this seems like an easy one for you to detect, there's a problem.
Yeah, that's bad. Anything else on that list, Candace, worth
Yeah,
mentioning?
one that sticks out for me is you're living in an assisted living facility or nursing home, and you're being targeted for hospice service, even though your life expectancy exceeds 6 months. I feel like the nurses are there to kind of be a safeguard for things like this, and be an advocate for you.
Okay, here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to boil this down. And I'm going to say, if you feel like any kind of service is being offered to you and there's something in you that perks up, question it. And if you don't feel like you are the right one to decipher what's good and what's bad, bring somebody in your family, bring somebody else in. I just think, we were talking during a break about our culture and how we apologize for everything.
Right.
I also think we're afraid to question. We don't want to offend somebody. We don't want to upset somebody. We just take things at face value. And I don't know. I think there's a lot to be said for our intuition. So question things. That's okay.
Yeah,
you
question
have the right to
things.
do that.
And if you question things, talk to your provider. And if your provider's not giving you the comfort or the answers that you need, then change providers. That's always your right. And you can absolutely do that at any time.
Right.
Yeah. And then you can file a complaint too. So, if you think that you're being sold on something that's not true, or you have an issue with something within the state health department, and then there's this beneficiary and family-centered care, which we've had on the show before, by the way. It's been a long time. Beneficiary and family-centered care, you can reach out to them as well, but your state department of health.
Okay, we've got to take a quick break, but before we do, you're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you as a service of Joyce House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. With locations in Broad Ripple and near the University of Indianapolis campus, Joyce House provides exceptional adult day services for individuals living with a life-altering diagnosis and compassionate support for family caregivers throughout the community. At Joyce House, we believe that everyone deserves to live their best life regardless of their abilities. Learn more about our adult day and caregiver support services by calling us at 317-254-0828 or by visiting joycehouse.org today. That web address again is joycehouse.org. Stick around. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after this. Welcome back to Caregiver Crossing. Sorry, I forgot I was bringing us in. My name is Candace Hattabaugh, and Tina and Terry are here as well. But we're also joined in the Joyce House studio by Dave Holder. He is one of our most favorite people on the planet. Dave is with Assisted Living Locators and the author of the book Ask Dave Holder, What Every Person Should Know About Senior Living Options. Welcome back, Dave.
Thank you so much, you guys, for having me.
How are
appreciate
you?
it. I am great. Thank you.
Good.
Anybody that doesn't know you, I think you should, because listen, we're not only all over Indiana now, we're in Illinois.
Wow.
So maybe those in Illinois might not know who you are. So tell us.
Oh, right.
I mean, kind of give us a little background.
So I am the owner of Assisted Living Locators of North Indy. I'm
Yeah.
a senior living advisor. I am very passionate about this. What led me through this was what we experienced with my father-in-law, and that lack of not knowing and not asking the right questions and not being proactive led me to want to make that never happen for anybody else. So I started the company just almost 6 years ago now, and I'm here to be a resource for families making that transition to senior living, independent, assisted, or memory care, help them step by step.
We're so glad you're in this space. I mean, and there are a lot of people that come in and out of this aging healthcare, if you will.
Sure.
They're not all to be trusted.
Mm-mm.
I mean, that's really sad, but it's true. We just talked about, before the break, we just talked about some fraud in hospice care right now. Heartbreaking. Dave, you're one of those people that, without a doubt, I will send anybody your way to say, hey, if you're looking for guidance and connections and care in this area, let's get you connected with Dave Holder.
I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm 54, and I was the kid growing up. Like, please don't ask me what I want to be when I grow up, because I have no idea. And I've always taken this approach that I want to help people, but that isn't always the case when you're in corporate America or something like that. And so to find this and to have this fill my heart, and I'm just excited to go to work every day and just love what I do finally at 54.
When you think about when is it time to put mom or dad or grandma or grandpa in assisted living, or just a change, taking them out of the home they've been in for 50 years. You come from a big family. You've got some that say they're still able to live independently in our home. We're good. You got the other family that says no. It's how do you go through all of that to where you can finally make that decision that yes, it is time.
So you want to be proactive about it. Have that conversation sooner than later. No senior really is excited about this. So I've helped hundreds of families. I think I've had 2 that were fired up about making this transition. They don't want to go. I think there's the feeling of, if I make this decision, then I'll see the end of the runway. So they're very hesitant to do that. And I think even the kids are too, because that's going to be recognized in your own mortality.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to have that conversation as soon as possible. And really, I use this analogy, and I don't know if I've said this before, but like in my former life, it was a family-run business, and I had to wear a business shirt, and I took great pride starching my shirts on Sundays and making sure I was pressed and very professional.
Aww.
And took a lot of, pride in that.
Mm-hmm.
But then it dawned on me, wait, for $2 a shirt and $3 a pair of pants, I could get my Sundays back, and I could go to breakfast with my wife, or I can do other things. I think thinking of senior living that same way, just because you might need help with this, or you don't need to be cleaning out your gutters and you need to live a maintenance-free life, that doesn't mean that you're old. That doesn't mean that you can't do those things, but why not take those things off your plate and kind of have that attitude about it? Because they're there to keep you independent longer. And so I think kind of getting that mindset, planting those seeds sooner than later will make all the difference in the world, because it is not an easy conversation.
You're hearing the voice of Dave Holder. And Dave, I have seen so many people who dread going into, like you said, nobody gets really fired up about it, dread going into assisted living or even into long-term care facilities. And then you give them about a month.
Yeah.
And what do you see difference after they've been situated for a minute?
Yeah, I see that so much. So I love telling this story, and I won't say her name, but she lived up in a 55 or older community up in the north side of Indianapolis.
Was it Terry Stacy? Was it Terry Stacy?
Shoot. Yes,
No.
it was.
Let's call her Terry.
So she wanted to be in control, but she didn't want to have to make this decision. She had a few health concerns, but she was very independent. And she's like, Dave, I don't need 3 meals a day. I don't want to deal with this, but I just want a nurse to be around if I need something, but I don't care about all these activities. I'm not an activity person. She was such a spirited, just a lovely lady. And I drove her around, and we went to the community, and she just fell in love with it. And so she kind of again, reluctantly made this decision. And then I went and saw her about 45 days after she'd been in, and she was just a completely different person. She was like, I'm doing stuff. I've made a hat. I don't do crafts, but this is great, and I'm down. And she was leaving because the bus was taking them down to the art center here in Broad Ripple. And so she's like, I've done more in the 45 days that I've haven't done in 5 years. And it's just wonderful.
So cool. She became a social butterfly.
Exactly.
So how do you, if I am going to have that conversation, say with my mom, how do you recommend I start that conversation?
So I would be prepared to have many conversations, and do not make this like an intervention. You ultimately want them to feel like this is their decision, and you want to make them feel empowered, and you want to lean with empathy. I think so much of the time I'm guilty of it, and I catch myself and some of the people that I work with, we get into that what did mom used to like to do? What did dad used to be able to do? And that's not the case. So we want to be very, very gentle and talk about how this is going to empower them and create more independence. And I always try to coach families, like, what is it that's going to make, like, what's going to click with dad? Is it going to be that it's a financial decision? You can show him on paper that this is going to be really great decision. It's not going to be as expensive as maybe living on home. Sometimes it's the emotional, like, hey, we haven't been father and daughter for a while, because I'm playing caregiver and social worker. Sometimes that emotional conversation will get them to click. And I use it with sense of humor with my parents. I'm like, if I have to drive over here and see dad naked, we're going to have a real big conversation here, because I don't want that to happen.
That's funny. That's very funny.
And so you come in and you work with these families, and I would imagine people are hesitant sometimes because they're like, you're just trying to get a buck from me. How much does it cost to hire you for this help?
100% no cost.
So how many dollars? $0 to have you as a navigator, a concierge, a friend, somebody they can trust to come in. And the name of your business again?
Assisted Living Locators, North Indy.
And named the best man in the whole world by us at Caregiver Crossing. I know we're going to have to take a break just a minute, but you're going to stick around with us, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do that. I know we've got to take just a moment. We will be back. Stay with us here on Caregiver Crossing.
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing. It's a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you as a service of Joyce House in partnership with Cardon and Associates, with locations in Broad Ripple and also near the University of Indianapolis campus. Joyce House provides exceptional day service for individuals living with life-altering diagnosis and compassionate support for family caregivers throughout the community. At Joyce House, we believe that everyone deserves to live their best life, regardless of their abilities. Learn more about our adult day and caregiver support services by calling us at 317-254-0828, or you can visit joycehouse.org today. That web address again is joycehouse.org. Stick around. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after this.
We're back on Caregiver Crossing. We've got just a few more minutes here at the end of the show, but we are going to continue our conversation with Dave Holder. Dave is the owner and operator of Assisted Living Locators, one of our favorite humans. And we were talking about ways to start a conversation. I loved your advice, by the way, about you don't just have one conversation about it's time to move into assisted living or some other kind of care. It's over time. It made me think like, saying, Mom, have you ever thought about moving out of this house? And her saying, no. And then the next week being able to go back and say, I know last week we talked about you moving out of this house. If you did, where is it you think you'd want to go? What would be important to you? And I think one of the things we hear a lot from folks is it's important, one, that they have the safety, yes. Less work, yes. That they also have community and things to do. We all know, and I think, Candace, I'm looking at you because we have really learned here at Joy's House that if you lose your purpose in life, you're done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very quick downhill from there, right? And so for these folks that you've worked with over the years, what are the things that are bringing them purpose?
I think it's that sense of community. They lose that, and especially with the pandemic, I've seen that so much. I'm so surprised by how many families say, Mom doesn't have any hobbies, or she used to do this, but she doesn't do this anymore. She just watches Netflix and Fox News, and that's
Same
it.
girl,
Yeah.
Netflix, on the Netflix.
So I think having that sense of purpose and just that socialization that can go on, and there's that positive peer pressure that will go on, like, come on down for this activity, or come have a meal with me, or hey, we're going on the bus, we're going to go to Newfields, or we're going to go to Walmart, come down, and just having that interaction. We all know that when we sit down with people and break bread, we're going to eat more, all of that is it's so positive.
When we say assisted living, for the first time person that's listening to us, and assisted living means what?
So assisted living means that they are designed, it's all residential living. That's the first thing. Everybody always immediately thinks nursing home. And
Right.
These are not clinical environments. These are, for the most part, month-to-month leases, their own apartment with their own furnishings in that. But they have nursing teams available to provide support around ADLs, bathing, dressing, toileting, medication management. You can have as little help as you need, or you can go up to 24/7 type care that can go there. But they're there to provide that support to keep you independent. So if you just need medication management, and that's
You
all
got
they're
it.
gonna,
That's all you're going to get.
it's not people.
But you can always add as things progress in your life. If the needs that may change, it can change as you live in assisted living.
100%. Yep. And
There are
then-
some of these facilities I would love to move into
Me
now.
too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've said it. I think Candace, you and I have joked. It's like a college dorm for aging adults, and
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that sounds
Aging.
great, right? To be able to walk out and
Right.
go be with your friends and have a meal, but be able to go back to your room right away. And
Yeah,
I mean,
and to have that emergency help if you need it in a heartbeat, in a second, they're there.
yes, there's so much great about them, and I think for whatever reason in our society, aging gets a bad rap. We're all afraid of it, and the aches and the pains, and we're all dying, by the way, just like we're all one day
Yep.
closer to death, right?
Right,
I mean, but we don't want to talk about that. And well, it's true. I
No,
mean,
I know, you're absolutely
it,
right.
it really is. Like there's only one way out of this earth,
I
but
know. Yeah, right.
but none of us ever want to talk about the end of life stuff. It scares us for whatever reason. And so a lot of these places have gotten a bad rap. And I think, Dave, from your perspective, like what is something that getting into this work has surprised you? Something that you've witnessed that you loved?
Wow, that is a great question. What have I loved? Just really, I think just being able to talk to family member or, their families and let them know, like, I'm here because we didn't prepare. There was some dysfunction and miscommunication in my family. It's okay. It's very typical, but just being able to share and talk to family members about how you can help them and help them make a good decision. It's such an important decision for them, and it's such an overwhelming, and there's so many emotional layers that go along with this decision. Just to have somebody that goes, yeah, I've been there. Think about this. Let's talk about this, and just be open to that. And it just awakens something in my heart that they're just so responsive to that. I had no idea that it would be that big of a deal. Honestly, I knew that it made sense having gone through it. Like, wow, that would have been incredible to have somebody do that. But when you interact with somebody and you say, hey, it's okay, we got this, it's just so powerful.
And what would you say to the family members that's maybe feeling regret or feeling guilty about the placement of their loved one?
I think that you shouldn't, because we're not designed to be caregivers. We're not designed where we have multiple generations in the home to do that. I think that the caregiving is part of this, and you're part of that decision. And find that partner in a community. Find where your loved one can lead the best life, and it's okay, because now your relationship can grow maybe on a whole different level.
Love it.
And so there's maybe a couple tips maybe for once you've made that transition, you're feeling some guilt. You need to still continue to be a part of this for yourself and to get over that. And for maybe mom or dad who has just made that transition, tips to make this easier for everybody.
Get involved. Understand, go to the activities, find some activities that they might like, go visit them, go to lunch with them, still take them out, still go out to lunch, still maybe get away for the weekend. There's no restrictions. Once you're in there, you can do whatever you
can
want.
leave when you
Yeah.
want
Usually some pretty good food there too.
Yeah, exactly. So get involved and get to know them, and still encourage them. They're still going to feel like that new kid in school. But yeah, I think I always tell families it's not over when you sign that lease and you move them in. You still need to be an advocate. You still need to get involved and understand what they're going through.
Well,
too.
and host family gatherings in their community rooms or host a book club.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool to host a book club with like your grandmother or your mom or something,
absolutely.
where you're seeing that person every week or every couple of weeks and their friends and your friends like coming together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Maybe I'll just adopt a grandma.
Maybe there should be an Adopt a Grandma program.
Maybe you should start it.
How do we do it?
No, it's not you.
How do I do it?
Let's do it.
Dave probably knows.
Let's just do it.
Dave's like,
Wouldn't
I'm
that
in.
be-
There has to be something like that, maybe.
I'm sure there probably is. But
Well,
if
let's
not,
look at it.
Go for it.
Let's do it. Let's talk about it
Let's do
next
it.
time.
Well,
Okay.
last time that we did this, we were going to start a tattoo conference
Festival
or
or
something.
something.
Okay, we've got to go. We've got to go. Dave Holder, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Assisted
guys.
Living
Thank you.
Locators, we love you. What's your phone number really quick or website?
317-854-9030.
Everybody got that?
Got it.
90.
All right. We got to close
30.
this show, but if you want to write into us for any reason, you can email me at tina@joyshouse.org. Learn more about Joy's House. Tell us what to do with the show. We're listening. Caregiver Crossing is supported by Cardon and Associates. With 20 communities owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest and more than 40 years of senior living services, Cardon provides the best senior living options and personalized care. Until next time, take good care of each other.